to start the show. The Good Life with DT. It's Nicole. Welcome to the Good Life.
You are now listening to the Good Life Podcast.
Good Life. Good Life. These boys are crazy.
You are now listening to the Good Life Podcast.
Good Life. What? A Good Life.
Spicoli, what is going on, my dude?
Yo, DT, what's poppin'?
Man, it's been a big first year for the podcast, man. We've had on some of the favorite bands, man. Story of the year. I mean, that's from back then, and that's one of my biggest ones. But today's guest is for sure my favorite of all of them. Spicoli, I'll give you the honor to introduce the guest today.
I mean, it's unlike any other band. We have Taking Back Sunday joining us on the Good Life Podcast. Frontman Adam, such a pleasure to have you on the Good Life Podcast.
Man, it's awesome to be here. Thank you guys for taking the time and for having me on. I feel real good about this. Hopefully you guys do too.
Yeah, we've been stoked for it, man. We're super stoked because you're coming here on June 14th, Stir Concert Cove, man. We cannot wait to see you guys out there.
Man, we are so pumped. This tour, it was kind of strange for us because 152 we put out in October of last year. And we never put out a record towards the end of the year like that. It's always been in the spring. And so we've kind of been real chomping at the bit, to get out there and share this with the world. Today we're on show 3, and it has just been, man, I'm we've all, after each show, I feel like we've all just kind of sat back oh my God, this is amazing. Just the response and the whole thing. One of the things I love the most, is the shows. I feel like there's always a certain points where everyone from the ages of 13 to 50, it's crazy, and everywhere in between, everybody's in this different chapter of their life, and everybody's just getting lost to the same thing. Time goes away. You're not on the same planet, and it's beautiful. It's real magic. And we get to be a part of it. How cool is that?
So awesome, man. I gotta kick this thing off. We gotta circle back to a podcast we did recently with somebody you know very well, Adam. His name is Mike.
Okay.
Mike Kaminsky was on recently.
Oh, yeah, man. Mike did we met him. He did a video for the song we have called Timberwolves at New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, off of our first record. And we met him that was our first time to the West Coast or anything, because he was from around the San Diego area. He's up in LA now. But man, he is, every time I see him, I just get so happy. I actually saw him not too long ago. And then and we played a show in Pomona, California, and he was there, and we got to catch up a bit. So
hell yeah.
Wait, did he say nice things, or
yeah.
did he say bad things? Because if he said bad things, he's getting a strongly worded text message after this is done.
No, I asked him a question, and he said I would have to ask Adam. And I was like, well, I don't have anything lined up with him yet, and here you are. So I get to ask the question. And I know you've answered this question before, but I couldn't remember it. I asked him because at Stir Cove, one of the groups I saw there was Public Enemy with Flava Fav. Mm-hmm. And I said, what? I was like, I know Adam's answered this, but why was Flava Fav in the You're So Last Summer video? I can't remember why and how that happened, dude.
Well, then at that point in time, John and Sean had left the band, and then we were kind of figuring out what we were going to do, and then trying to put pieces back together. And then it was really the label is we would like a video for this song, blah, 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 whole thing. And we're like, well, we don't want to have Fred singing John's parts in the video because all that was still fresh, so Mark, our drummer, was like, yo, what if we got Flava Fav? And then we're like, yeah, that'd be awesome, but why are you even thinking about that? He's like, well, I always see him in the neighborhood, he's riding his bike around. And then so we reached out to him. Our buddy Christian Winters directed that video. He did all of those early videos. Great Romances was the first one, which he did it as a student project. And then he did the Q Without the E video, and then the So Last Summer video too. And then so he just reached out, and they got back real quick, lickety split. And so that's how that came together, but we couldn't believe it. I mean, I remember thinking at the time, like, yeah, sure, that's going to work out, but it did. It's wild.
Dude was just riding his bike and wound up in your video.
Well,
I mean,
because like Mark, you know, like him and Sean grew up around like Baldwin, Oceanside, like that kind of area of Long Island, and that's, I guess, Flavor Flav's hung out around those same places.
Cool. I got to point this out. You just brought up Great Romance of the 20th Century, and I just literally saw this article on Alternative Press, and they ranked your top 5 songs of all time. Number 5, Great Romance of the 20th Century. Your So Last Summer is number 4. 3 is A Decade Under the Influence. What do you think they put at 2 and 1?
I mean, probably Cute without the E and Make Damn Sure, right?
You're correct. Number 2.
Which one's 2?
Yeah,
Which
number
one's
2,
one?
Make Damn Sure. Number 1, Cute Without the E. We're kind of curious, what's your top 3?
Well, was that from an AP issue in like 2007 or something, 2006?
No.
Oh, like recently?
Recently. Yeah, I think that was 2023 that they dropped that.
Did you know that the Madden brothers from Good Charlotte own Alternative Press magazine now?
I did not know that. We're learning.
Crazy. Yeah. So I would go more recent in our catalog, to be honest. And like I like know that the most, like, anyone you talk to is gonna be like, the most recent thing I worked on, that's what's my favorite. The reason why I say it though is because one of the things I'm really proud about the band that I'm in is that I believe that each record that we have is a really great snapshot of who we were then. And so, and 152 is no different. And so for me, that the songs on that record better represent and honor the person that I've grown into, than those other earlier records. Though I was that person too. I just didn't know as much as I know now. And now which puts you in that weird, like Rod Stewart faces, you know, I wish that I know what I know now, that thing. But it's like hard, man, there was, it's hard for me to go back and listen to those earlier records because of the sound of my voice. And, because I know I was just yelling and hoping that it was working out. And then, so, which I've learned more over the years, and it's not like that anymore, and I prefer how it is now. But to like go back through and say like, oh, well, here's my favorite 5 songs, you know, that I've been a part of. I always feel a little like I'm not quick to do that, just because I want to make sure like I'm still honoring the person that I've grown into, because I like this guy better than that other guy. But I will say live though, there's like a lot of those songs, especially the older ones. It's like real magic, real Harry Potter shit. Like there's like, you'll be like time, like, cause it's not about like, oh, like the standard, like, okay, there's a band playing and there's a crowd and the crowd's going to react this way and the band's going to do this thing. And it just all like the lines get blurred and it becomes like this other thing for me when we're playing that stuff. So, which is more of like, I think goes to represent like community or fellowship or like something like that. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I also don't want to be like, hey, fuck all that old shit, because I don't believe that. So I just don't want to give anyone the wrong impression. This has been a real long walk to a simple question you asked me. So thank you for the company on the walk. And I would say it depends on the mood for me. If I am in like just kind of like more like angry, like mood, like world's feeling heavy, I just want to like, I mean, you know, shake something. Then I would go for like a song like El Paso or you know, off the newer record, like a song like The Stranger. Even going back to the older records, a song like Ghost Man on the Third. For those situations. Now, maybe sometimes you'll feel a little bit more romantic, you see. So you want something a little closer. You want like a divine intervention off of Louder Now. You want the one off of 152, or something along those lines, you know. And I'm realizing through this, I'm like, man, we got something for everybody. Good for us.
That you do. Two things. One, Ghostman on Third, I bet was on repeat for a year when that album came out for me, dude. That was
hell yeah.
That was my
Thank you for
song,
saying
dude.
that.
That whole
dude,
album.
I was sitting in the passenger seat. Eddie used to not let anybody else drive, you know, like we didn't know if it was a control issue or just he liked driving, but we weren't going to argue. But back when we were in the van, and this was before Tell All Your Friends was even out, but I remember like a lot of that, or like the lyrical part of it was written in the passenger seat of that green Ford Econoline that we had all those years. It was forest green, a thinking man's color.
The other thing I was going to say, it's super interesting about your answer, man. We just had Spencer from Underoath on, what, like a week or two ago? Yeah, he said he was talking about you too, but his answer about they're only chasing safety was about identical to what you're saying. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah?
Almost the exact same explanation you just gave was his explanation about that album. Like, he's stoked to do the 20-year anniversary, but he's like, that's just not me anymore. He's like, so we're mainly doing that for the fans. And I was like, yeah, I didn't expect that kind of an answer, but it makes a lot of sense, really, because if you see the growth from, you know, Tell All Your Friends to Where You Want to Be Loud, I mean, every album just seems like it got a different, more mature sound to where you are now with the new stuff is just completely different. It's so good, man.
Oh, thanks, man. It's great because Spencer and I, like, we grew up in the same place, you know, going to the same shows, same thing. And then we were actually talking about him the other day because when my son Asa was born, he came 5 weeks early. And then we were in the middle of a tour. We were out with Transit. And then so obviously, like, I went home and then called him up. I'm like, Spencer, what are you doing right now? Can you help us, please? And then he learned like all these songs, hopped on a plane and filled in for me, like, so I could be over there in the NICU, you know, like
wow.
it was wild. But he's just always been the best. And it's been really cool too, because all these years, you know, like there's times to where our schedules like have lined up, you know, and then because I remember we had a rehearsal space in New York, and it was, so he would go and like he'd have these appointments in like the next building over, so like we'd get out of rehearsal and then he'd be getting out of his thing and then we'd be like, well, you doing anything? Let's go hang out, you know. And then there's just been times like that over the years that are really special to me, just to like, because two guys, you know, from like High Point in Greensboro, North Carolina, like doing the thing that we're doing is pretty incredible, I think, and I feel real fortunate. And then so moments like that, it's like that you get to see someone that you've known for so long and like have like so much love for, and he's on a similar path, you know, like it just feels it fills you right up. I guess
we did ask him though, what would you think of doing a Spencer and Adam collaboration on a song? And he said he was not against it and that it would be really fun. We've
talked about that a whole bunch over the years. And I got to hand it to him, man. Like I admire his work ethic so much because he's always doing stuff like he has the Slow Tide stuff now and anytime we've talked about it, it's just like it hasn't lined up, like as far as like the schedules and things. But now with the technology and all, I would imagine that's something we could work on no matter where we were. I'm gonna have to give him a call. He's gonna get a strongly worded text.
He just hit me up yesterday. I might hit him back up and be like, hey, yeah, we just got done talking to Adam, dude. Get it lined up now. Make the world explode.
Yeah.
Right. Can we debut the song on the Good Life podcast?
Oh shit. We should just call the song the Good Life.
Oh shit. Do it.
Okay, so you hit up Spencer, you're like, hey, here's what you're gonna do. And then see how he takes that.
He'll be like, only if it's Slow Tide. That's what he'll say.
Yeah.
That
probably.
Slow Tide shit is good, man. But
it's great. He's great,
man. And I wish I knew what the show was, man. There's the YouTube, the acoustic set you guys did, and it looked like almost like in like an opera house or something like that.
Oh, Orange Sands. It's this
dude.
Yeah, it's this place. I believe it's like Lower East Side, Manhattan. And the idea for that was like, hey, I don't think MTV Unplugged's going to call us anytime soon, so let's just make our own. And then we did, and it worked. I love it when a plan comes together. And then, we wanted it to be in the round. And then, so that place, like that venue was perfect for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, when I was watching it, it reminded me of Dashboard on that MTV Unplugged. But, like, dude, when I saw it and you guys doing it live, I was like, that had to have been, like, a top show for them. I don't know, but just watching the crowd reaction, dude, was insane to that.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Just even, like, putting that together, you know. Anytime you can incorporate a Wurlitzer into what you're doing is a good time to me.
You have played so many shows over the years and probably so many memorable moments, but can you share the story about the time you got shoved out on stage and it was Slayer's spot to play?
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is our first time in the UK. It's like our first show outside of America. And it was at Download Festival, which is like a big festival over there, and like mainly like heavier bands, you know. And like I bet like Metallica or something was headlining that year, and we were on like earlier in the day, and we were set up to go, like we were on one of the side tents, and in that side tent, Slayer was I mean, I don't know what time, say it was like 4 p.m, just for the sake of argument, but they're like, a lot of their crew got held up at customs, so they come to us and they're like, hey, because we were supposed to go on like after, like a good amount after the thing. And then they come to us, they're like, hey, we might need you to switch spots with Slayer. And we're like, no, we're not doing that. So the tent is like packed with people. You couldn't fit any more people in there. And our buddy Stu, who was with us at the time, he's like wheeling our little amplifiers out, and the crowd immediately is like, that's not Slayer's equipment. What the shit is going on? And they start boo, throwing things, anything. It was terrible. And then so they're like trying to set things up. There's like water bottles and who knows flying at them. And then and we're over on the side of the stage like, dude, we are not going out there. Are you kidding me? No. Like, because it's like, here's all these Slayer fans. They want only Slayer. Right. And then here we come. Bing, 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 bing. Hey guys, you know, but like, thankfully, as that was happening, as they were setting up and we were all having a panic attack, like, oh my God, we're going to get murdered. And then their crews show up and they immediately get to work and switch the stage around and everything was fine. But there was like a good, like half hour, 45 minutes to where we were freaking out.
If I was in the crowd, I'd have been stoked for TBS to go up instead of Slayer. I'm not going to fucking lie, man. I'd been like, this is a gift.
You would have been the only person good, in that crowd thinking that.
Let's fucking go. I got you, man.
But like we were like, I even remember shortly after that show, because then like we played. Well, it's funny too, because then like we played. Like there's just a little bit of a delay, and there's like, I mean, you know, like 10 people in that tent. So it's to like see that we were pumped, like, yeah, 10 people stayed. This is the best. And then, cause we were just thinking, okay, we're going to play to only ourselves right now. So that was cool. But also we have our first show on foreign soil was wrought with the fans of Slayer and things like that.
Oh,
you know?
My God.
Did you ever get to meet Slayer? Did they say anything to you?
Years later, cause they live in Dallas. We were playing a show in Dallas. And two of them came out with their kids because their kids were fans. And, so we got to meet them then. So here we are in the dressing room with Slayer. And then of course you got to tell them the story. So we told them the story, whole thing, which was good because it helped to break the ice. We were all really nervous. And then, so we did get to finally meet them, but it was like, I mean, you know, like 10 years later, maybe.
That is awesome.
Right. Full circle moment.
Yeah. It was pretty sweet.
Great, man. Yeah, man, we can't wait to see you guys at Stir Cove, man. We're actually going to be promoting the concert, too, and giving away tickets, man.
Thank you.
So we are stoked to have you guys out here, man.
Yeah, man, we're pumped, too. There's, like, for so long, like, before every tour, like, I'd be like, hey, guys, can we make a stage like this? And it would be the most outlandish, like, Beyonce-type bullshit. And then, which I love Queen Bee, by the way. I'm just saying she has crazy setup, and we're a rock band. We can't afford those things. And then, but on this one, we like, it's like one of the first times we're like, you know what? Let's go all in. We're all in. And then, so just the whole thing we brought, and it's like, I'm just so happy with the whole thing. And I'm excited for people to see it, and hopefully for them to be able to come and experience that same thing that we've been experiencing, just like time doesn't stand still. It doesn't move faster. It just disappears, and it's beautiful.
Adam with Taking Back Sunday, an absolute pleasure to have you on the Good Life podcast. We are looking forward to Friday, June 14th, Stir Cove. You're ready to rock the stage. You never disappoint, man. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, well, hey, thank you guys for your kind words, and thank you so much for your time and for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you when we're there.
Sir.
It'll be so soon. It'll be before you even know it. Just a few sleeps away.
Until the midnight.